This is JD again with another showing of the Pioneer Podcast on the WETD 90.7 The Leap radio station. This time I have a club rep joining me, but before the interview, let me talk about how we can set you up for an interview for your club, organization, or your team. You can email me directly at my school email, curryjd@alfredstate.edu, CURRIEJD. Also, if you want to stay up to date with the show, you can subscribe to my YouTube at the Pioneer Podcast/radio show. And my Instagram is jdcurry18. Okay, my guest here today is, both of them are, I've got the coach and I've got the captain, right?
Yeah.
From the Alfred State Wrestling team. What do you most enjoy about athletics?
Probably the relationships you meet. I've always met at least one person at any tournament or any team. You build a lot of friendships throughout that, and those friendships become stronger as the years go on. So it's really something to look back at down the road, where you've always met people, and they're all different characters. No one's the same, so that's a great thing about sports, is that you can meet many people, and you have all one thing in common, is that you want to compete and you want to win. So that's one good thing about sports.
So, which year in college are you?
What?
Which year in college are you?
I'm a second year sophomore, so after this semester I'll be a junior.
So where do you see yourself going over the next few years?
Stay at Alfred State, get my bachelor's in criminal justice, and then see where that takes me. But I plan on staying in Alfred State.
What about for wrestling?
Plan on wrestling and achieve my goals and work hard every day, and especially in the off season, because that's where you get a lot of the work in. You get stronger in the off season. You learn more in the off season. So I plan to work hard in the off season and come back stronger each year.
So what would you say your greatest weakness is?
Greatest weakness in sports, or just in school?
Sports.
Sports, probably. Communication's probably one of the hardest things. When you're in a match, it's pretty hard to listen to your coaches, because there's the crowd, there's your teammates cheering you on, there's the opponent, and it's sometimes hard to listen to your coaches, because you're kind of in that tunnel vision. So I'd feel like probably listening and communicating with your coaches when you're on the mat is probably one of the most difficult things to do.
How do you overcome this weakness?
Just try and, during a break, if you're out of bounds and you can look at your coach real quick and hear him, what he's got to say to you between that little 5-10 second break, and then just go through it. It's really a mental thing to do. So you got to use that time when there's a few second breaks to listen to your coaches and see what they have to say to you.
So this is more for the coach position. How do you adjust your training style in order to fix a problem that you've seen in a previous situation?
Right. Well, once we get into competitions and we're competing every weekend, you can usually come back with some takeaways of what we did well and what areas we need work. So usually at the beginning of the following week, we adjust our training to work in some different drills, some different technique sessions, stuff like that, to try to improve on areas where we weren't doing well the weekend before. Kind of keep building that full picture of where we want to be at the end of the season. So that's one of the challenges we face every week, just looking at where we can improve, what areas we can build off of, and then keep working towards our ultimate goals towards the end of the season.
So do you do like video replays? How do you look back at a match?
Usually coaches and guys are taking mental notes as tournaments and matches are going on, stuff like that. Guy comes off the mat and you can immediately give him, you don't want to dump a ton of feedback on him, but you can give him some small things and let them know, like, these are areas we need to work on. We also video all of our matches, so the guys can watch the videos themselves. They can sit down with me and review it, go over specific positions, situations, stuff like that we can work on. And then, if that could be more individualized feedback, whereas sometimes we just kind of, as a coaching staff, can see one area we're just not doing well in, and that's going to be something we address as a whole team.
So what are the benefits of making a change? I could go for either of you.
Go first.
Making a change as far as what?
Your style, how you train.
There's a lot of benefits to changing up different. In the weight room, you can change up your lifting routine to keep your body guessing, to help get better results. Different styles of wrestling, like we try to switch up partners every once in a while, so you're getting different looks from different guys and not getting set, just expecting the same thing, stuff like that. And then any other area where you're, maybe mentally you're not at high enough of a level, or maybe your energy levels, you're coming in and you're pretty, I don't know, lame or whatever, you're not bringing good energy. Anytime you can make a change that's going to positively affect what you're going to get out of practice or a match, is going to not only help you, but the team as a whole. So anytime you can make a positive change, even little things every day, we'll keep building on.
What do you say was your greatest accomplishment?
Probably going to Fargo Nationals. It's a big off season in North Dakota. Real big tournament. I had about 150 guys in my bracket. So I think that was probably one of the biggest accomplishments for me, to go on a kind of a big stage to wrestle, and that was for high school. And then probably for college is probably placing at the Brockport Open 2 weeks ago, taking 4th place.
How do you get ready for the next sports season?
Like in the off season?
Do you do another sport?
No, I just wrestle. But once the off season comes, I usually take probably a week or 2 off, and then I get right back into it. Whether it's working out with weights, going for runs, or wrestling, trying to stay fit in a way, and also having the right diet, because most of the time after a season, you kind of not really look at what you're eating and what you're putting in your body, and if you're putting a bunch of junk food in your body, you're not going to feel great over the off season when you're lifting or running and trying to stay in shape and get better for that next season. So just trying to stay fit and learn from different guys, go to different camps, train with different people will help you get to that next step for that next season. You'll be one step ahead of everybody else if they're not doing anything. So trying to stay fit is probably a good way to be ready for that next season.
What do you like and dislike about it, the training?
Makes you a better person. There's wrestling can help a person and in life. Whether it's a good or a bad situation, you'll learn how to handle certain situations in life. That's what I really like about it. But I don't like losing. That's probably the biggest downfall of wrestling, is losing. But if you don't want to lose, you just got to keep working harder and harder, and to become a better person. And I like to win, so that's a good thing about wrestling, is if you win, you feel good. Your team will have your back in it. You'll get the team hyped up to go out there and win for the next time. So that's a pretty cool feeling to have when the atmosphere's up and everybody's feeling good. So
I've always had one thing that I wasn't sure about with wrestling. Once you get out of high school and college, what is the Olympics the only actual real wrestling?
Nowadays you see a lot of wrestlers transition to the MMA and UFC and Bellator, but there's a lot of freestyle teams now. There's one in Colorado, New Jersey, and there's the world teams trials that are coming up in April. So that's what, if you're really good enough to do it, that's what most of them do, is go to one of these locations and train every day. It's their job. So they train for the Olympics. So yeah, just about.
So have you seen anybody go on to continue after college, and where do they go from here? So have you seen anybody go on to continue after college, and where do they go from here?
Yeah, I wrestled at Cortland, which is a big education school. So a lot of my teammates are now teachers. So I have a ton of connections of friends, ex-teammates that are now coaching at the high school level and still involved in the sport in that capacity. I have a few teammates. One of them wearing the shirt right now. This is his high school team, Grand Street campus, down in the city. He did some amateur MMA fighting, and now he's a head high school coach and teacher down there. One of our other teammates, he competed in Bellator, and he got an UFC contract for the MMA. He's the number 2 ranked bantamweight in the world right now. So he's had a lot of success with that, and the skills from wrestling translate really well to that growing sport.
That is pretty neat. You said there's a couple matches coming. Well, are they called matches?
Yeah, so Saturday we have a tri-meet. So we'll compete in 2 matches. At noon, up in Orvis, we're going to wrestle Keystone College. And this is only our second year as an NCAA program, so we're trying to get our first ever NCAA dual meet win. So we're going to take on Keystone College at noon, and then at 1:30 we're going to wrestle Ulster Community College. So we're going to try to go out and wrestle our hardest and see if we can't pick up two dual meet wins.
Anything else you'd like to talk about?
Just follow us. Follow our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter page at Alfred State Wrestling. It's going to be a great year. So we're just starting out, and we did pretty well our last 2 tournaments. So we'll just keep climbing and get to that overall goal is sending guys to nationals this year.
Would you like to talk about any of your wrestling experience and good memories?
We got 141-pounder Ben Starr here too.
Well, this is my first year wrestling ever, so this was definitely a new experience for me. I transitioned from only having a background in jiu-jitsu, which is kind of backwards as far as martial arts. If you have a wrestling as a base and then jiu-jitsu after, they kind of merge together well, but trying to transition from jiu-jitsu to wrestling was quite difficult, and I tend to end up on my back, which is not good in wrestling. So but I think I'm learning pretty quick. I've been adjusting to the lifestyle as a wrestler, and just learning technique every day. I go into practice and work my hardest, and I got some good training partners, and they teach me everything. When I find myself in a bad position and I don't know what to do, there's always somebody there to correct what I'm doing, get me out of that situation, and then and I just try to embed that in my brain, and so the next time I find myself in that situation, I know what to do. I'm looking forward to getting another match in and showing my improvement, and I feel pretty dedicated to wrestling at this moment right now. So it's fun. I enjoy it, and it's good therapy. It's very therapeutic, and good work, good lifestyle, healthy lifestyle. Getting that. I mean, what else could you ask for?
So where do you guys see yourselves going after college wrestling?
Hope to be able to bring it back to the community, help the youth grow, and possibly be a coach one day, but give it back to the community because I've had many people help me throughout the years, and that's the right thing to do is just give back and help the youth grow and help middle school and high schoolers achieve their goals. So I'd like to be a coach one day.
I strive for just I'm more of a short-term goal person and kind of just take it step by step. So, I would like to graduate college. That's the main goal, is just to graduate and just make a lot of progress in wrestling. Honestly, is another one of my main goals. I already had set goals in the beginning of the season. I saw where I was at, and I think I made a lot of progress, and I think I could just grow immensely. So that's, just trying to grow as a person and as a wrestler.
So I guess leave us with your greatest memories from the sport.
Probably meeting a bunch of people, meeting people you get to watch on TV wrestle, knowing that you guys share the same interests and similarities. You guys both wrestle, and probably meeting and feeling like you're welcome to a community, because the wrestling community just keeps growing. So that feels really good, to meet people, to learn how different people train, traveling. There's a whole bunch. I could talk about it all day, but those are probably the few main ones. It's meeting people and seeing how a lot of people train.
For me, a lot of these guys started when they were younger, but for me, I think my greatest memory would be just my first match. That's something I'll never forget. It was intense. I think it lasted about, it's crazy. It lasted about probably, I would say like 6 minutes. It was like about a 6-minute match. But like the intensity, the adrenaline that was pumping, it's like I almost couldn't hear anything just because of how much in the moment I was. So it was pretty cool. I definitely won't forget that feeling.
As a coach, my best memory happened. I have two, and hopefully they become the norm. When I was coaching the community college level, I had a guy that was a third-year sophomore who wasn't a good student before he got involved in wrestling, and he got on the right track because of wrestling. It helped him focusing on his academics, focusing on wrestling, and because of that, he was able to go from being a JV wrestler in high school to being a national qualifier wrestler, which was a huge accomplishment for him. And then he was able to graduate a few months later with his associate's degree. And then this past March, I was an assistant coach at Western New England University, and I was in the practice room every day, co-running practices, but also wrestling with our 184-pounder every day in the room. And he was able to win the individual NCAA title for his weight class. So those are my two biggest accomplishments, and those are also my two biggest goals as a head coach of this program, to continue to have people develop and improve as wrestlers and work towards graduating, and have another national champion as a head coach. I tell it to the guys, I tell it to the recruits I bring on campus. I am going to be in the corner when Alfred State Wrestling has their first individual national champion. It's up to them who it's going to be.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming down to the station and talk about the wrestling.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
I wish you guys luck on Saturday, right?
Saturday at noon.
As for that, this was the Pioneer Podcast on the WTD 90.7, the Leap radio station. If you would like to stay up to date with all of my shows, you can follow me on Instagram, JDCurry18. You can, if you want to be on the show, email me at CurryJD, CurrieJD. The YouTube that I'm running for the show is the Pioneer Podcast /radio show.
other than that, have a great day and talk to you soon.